Don't you lose sight of what you want.
By Jove, Brian, you've managed to survive your basic training. Congratulations. Now, on to our first specialty. We're going to look at battleships. Whatever do you mean, who am I? I'm your training officer, Rear Admiral Arnold Horacio Dankworth-Gastrell. Darn fool. How you manage to dress yourself in the morning simply amazes me. Anyhow, on to battleships. I said ships, Brian. These are the beasts of the sea. Large, slow, but with enough firepower to blast you right out of your socks from 100 yards away, just from their blasts. My good friend here is demonstrating the correct manner in which to use your battleship. We've spotted some foolish cruisers lurking out on their own, whilst gently rubbing the paint of our fellow sailor there, who made the silly mistake of driving across in front of another battleship. They will learn. Anyway, cruiser number 1. Silly, foolish man drives straight across, broadside, in front of a battleship. Wait and you will see. This is what a battleship is all about. Causing massive damage to idiots. That cruiser just got spanked harder than Margaret when I told her she overcooked my luncheon. Oh yes, should probably explain. Margaret was my nanny. Wicked old girl. Had a mouth that would make Stalin blush. Anyway, here comes our second victim. Proper paddling is what he's going to get. Did he not learn from seeing his fellow cruiser captain sailing out broadside in front of a battleship? These darn dew-droppers. Anyway, as you can see, he's coming into our sights. We take aim. Boom. And we just wait for the fallout. Correct method of paddling demonstrated clearly there. Right, well, you've seen the pros. Now time for some of the cons. It's not always that easy and not that simple. As you can see, we are playing from the perspective of a cruiser, and this fool, not paying attention, not aware of what's going on around him. Know your enemy. Remember our first lesson? Japanese cruisers have torpedoes. We've covered this, but he's so focused on the other battleship that he pays little to no attention whatsoever to the torpedo cruiser creeping up on him. Send him straight to Davy Jones's locker. Didn't even give him time to get his feet wet. Straight down. Again, another lesson. This Fuso driving in a straight line. Many battleship players display this ineptitude. So, as you can see, we're in a smoke screen. He's being fired at. There are torpedoes all around him. And somehow he seems to be blissfully unaware, ignorant, or too busy, I don't know, licking rocks. Well, plenty of notice. Everything to tell him he was going to get blown up by torpedoes, and he gets blown up by torpedoes. Lesson number 3 in a battleship: sailing too close to an island. See, battleships are not the most manoeuvrable, so you get very limited time, and you need to be aware of what's around you. He's not paid much attention. We're spotted, we're detected. He knows we're the other side of these islands, and yet, again, sails directly into a spread of torpedoes. So, we'll look at it from the perspective of a battleship driver. What you should and should not do in the situation when you're aware of destroyers. Now, you may see it, but there's the silhouette there in the mini-map. Tactical advantage that you should be using, that there was a cruiser spotted between these two islands. Lo and behold, a cruiser, a destroyer. Lo and behold, what happens? Oh, well, the destroyer sends out masses of torpedoes. We do manage to use some of our manoeuvrability to dodge one, but we still get hit by another 3. We'll skip forward a little bit. Nobody wants to watch a battleship sailing in a straight line. It's a bit dull. Making the prediction, because we just got torpedoed, that there is quite likely that destroyer is going to follow us down the island and is prepared to ambush. So we start turning to make our path less predictable, and predictably we're going to see some torpedoes. There we go, flying ahead. If we continued along that course, we'd be at the bottom. So when you're spotted, and particularly if you know you're spotted by a destroyer, do not sail in a straight line. Do not be one of them, please, Brian. Adjust your course. Make random movements. Speed up, slow down, to port, to starboard, whatever. Just do not continue on the same path, because it will only end in your ultimate destruction. We focus fire on the Fubuki, and again, torpedoes sailing harmlessly past us. Nothing to fear there. Oh, what was that? Our secondary guns open up. A second destroyer? Any battleship's nightmare. As you can see, this captain has his wits about him and has slowed his ship and steered in very sharply and sped back up. And there we go. The first set of torpedoes harmlessly sail by. We are taking some fire, but they're destroyers. Their guns can barely scratch our paint. Understanding that the destroyer is a massive threat, the first thing our captain does is go for the ram. Unfortunately, on this occasion, we missed. Ramming, the principle is based on the weight of your ship against the weight of their ship and your health pools. This would have almost certainly ended the destroyer and only inflicted minimal damage on the battleship. Devastating strike. Predictably more torpedoes. Continue lurching in the turn and safely away. Now, there is another battleship shooting at us. We've seen the shells coming in. But battleships, we can see, battleships are easy targets. There is still a destroyer lurking in his smokescreen over there, that darn Fubuki. And we've seen the shells coming out of the smokescreen. We estimate where he is. You don't need to see him to damage him, and cause a fire. Continue making random movements and safely dodge yet more torpedoes as we line up the shot to take out the most immediate, most dangerous threat to any battleship, which is those stealthy destroyers that we discussed in our previous lessons. Kaboom. So, to reiterate today's lesson, Brian, what have you learnt? That is correct. Battleship drivers who stay in straight lines get sunk. Constantly move, adjust your course, and you will prevail in war. Well, I think we leave that lesson there for today. Surely more than you can handle in one sitting there, Brian. Till next time, toodle pip.